Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of PRAKTEK Listening. Here we are in the third episode of the series, and still I have not come up with a cool name to name the series. I have a feeling that I might actually just stick with the name PRAKTEK Listening until the end because, it's convenient and it's easy to search. So people who are actually looking for videos to practice their listening skills in Bahasa Indonesia will actually find this because the name PRAKTEK Listening is SEO friendly. Anyways, even though I think that the name PRAKTEK Listening is ugly, I think we'll stick with that for a while. Oh, and I want to tell you that the video from last week of me talking with each other, dialogue about, two people flexing on each other with their achievements, it got a lot of positive reception, which I'm so happy about because that kind of video took me a while to shoot, because I also had to think about the script, I wanted to think about the story, the comedy, whatever, and also the acting was also pretty fun to do, but it wasn't easy, not as easy as this kind of video, of course. I'm very glad that a lot of you guys liked it, so it felt like the effort that I put in making that kind of video was worth it. So I think I'm going to be making more of that as you guys have requested, but because that kind of video is very time consuming, I can only do it every other week, or I don't know, once every 3 weeks or something. Every other week means selang-seling, so this week I'll make something easy, the next week maybe I'll make something like that again. But yeah, but it really depends if I could come up with a good idea for a script, or I don't know, if I have the time to shoot something like this. We'll see, but I think I'm going to continue with those types of skits for you guys, also because it's also kind of fun to do and to watch. So yeah, so if you guys missed last week's video, it's this one, and it's also in the description box if you want to check it out. And also don't forget to share it with your friends so that I have higher motivation to do these types of videos more often, because to be honest, even though I got a lot of comments, receptions, and all that, the views are still pretty low, compared to other types of videos that you see in Indonesian YouTube, right? At the moment, I got about 15K, which is better than my average videos, but, compared to other Indonesian videos, it's not too many. So there are days where I feel like my analytics, my metrics is pretty discouraging, and I was like, oh, I have this amount of subscribers, but I only have this amount of views. So if you guys could help out, share my videos, my channel to your friends or family, that would be a great help. Oh yeah, about this series, you're probably thinking, how do I train my listening skills? Do I just listen? Do I watch the subtitles? Do I read while I read the subtitles, whatever? So if you guys are wondering about how to actually make the most out of these types of videos, about like English videos and learning through subtitles, I would encourage you guys to check out my online course, because on my online course I talk about the details, about the techniques on how you can use these types of videos to your advantage. So in this course I dedicate one module talking about listening, because listening is a very, very, very important skill when you want to learn a new language, more than speaking, I would say, because without listening you won't be able to speak as much, because listening is when you get a lot of input. So in my course I talk about step by step on how you can use these types of videos to your advantage, how you can make the most out of these types of videos. So if you're interested, do check it out. So in this week's topic, I want to talk about FOMO. So if you guys are a true netizen, if you spend a lot of time on the internet, you've probably come across this term FOMO, which stands for fear of missing out. So fear of missing out in Bahasa Indonesia is simply translated as takut ketinggalan. Fear, takut kan, missing out. To miss out on something in English means ketinggalan sesuatu. So I could give you guys a few examples of the situation where you feel FOMO. So for instance, let's say there's an event and a lot of your friends are going. Everybody goes there. But then you can't really go to this party because let's say you're ill, you're sick, so you have to stay home. And then you see all of these Insta stories on their Instagram, on their TikTok or whatever, that, about everything about this party. Everyone's having fun. And then you're just there at home being sick. So you in that moment you're feeling FOMO. You feel like you're missing out on something. Another situation would be, let's say, I think lately there was this hype, right, about the Clubhouse app in Indonesia. You see a lot of your friends posting their Clubhouse accounts on their Instagram, and then you're like, oh, I want to join that too. But since you're an Android user like I am, you probably feel like you're missing out on it because you can't download it, you can't join because you're not an Apple user. So as an Android user, you feel this FOMO, you know, so you feel like you're missing out on this whole hype and this Clubhouse thing that everyone is talking about. So that is what FOMO is. I have to say this term FOMO has been around for quite some years actually, so it's not anything new, but I want to talk about it because it is something that I've been feeling lately and I want to share with you guys. As you guys know, I think if you guys watched the previous videos of this series, I shared with you guys about the current situation in the Netherlands. How here in the Netherlands things are a lot more strict than in Indonesia. So we are in a second lockdown. So stores, restaurants, bar, cafes are not open in here, and there's also a curfew at 9 p.m. So there's nobody is allowed to be outside after 9 p.m. So basically life has been dull. Life has been boring. So naturally, with this whole lockdown thing, I feel a lot of FOMO. I see my friends who are in Indonesia, who are even in Australia, New Zealand, and where the lockdown isn't as strict, and then they could live their lives as normal. I feel like, oh man, I'm having so much FOMO right now. I wish that I was in those countries where the lockdown isn't as strict. I want my life back. So you feel FOMO when, let's say, you feel like everyone else is having a more fun experience than you are having. And obviously I have that too when I see a lot of my friends on the other side of the world having fun, not being isolated at home. So one thing about me is that I pride myself for being self-aware. Whenever I notice myself that I'm in this negative loop where I'm just looking at Instagram and then looking at, not even Instagram, even like other social media, other YouTube, where I feel like a lot of people are having more fun than I am, I feel this tendency to compare myself to others. And I hate comparing myself to others because that makes you, you will never win, you know. When you compare yourself to other people, there's always something that you don't have that they have. But then the reverse also applies. When you compare to other people, it also means that you have something that they don't have. But when you are falling in this negative loop of comparing yourself to others, you will always, most of the time, focus on the things that you don't have instead of focusing on the things that you do have. So you're focusing on, you know, the lack of things instead of the abundance of things. So whenever I feel myself feeling this whole FOMO feeling, so I try to reverse my thoughts. So instead of feeling like, man, I'm so missing out on living life right now. I'm missing out on going out to restaurants, to bars, to go traveling, blah, blah, blah. So when I think like that, I think about the things that I don't have, and that is not good. So what I do immediately is that I try to focus on the things that I actually do have. So because it's a trade-off, right? Because if I'm missing out on one thing, then I'm gaining another thing. So for instance, let's say taking that example that I mentioned earlier, if I'm missing out on a party that a lot of my friends are going to and I'm staying at home, I might miss out on the party, but I'm gaining something. I'm gaining my health back. I'm resting at home. Whereas if I were to go on the party, then I would be missing out on getting healthy. I'll be missing out on, you know, resting at home. So same thing right now. I might be missing out on some fun, going to restaurants or going traveling, this and that, but I'm actually gaining something. I'm gaining a lot of time at home. I'm actually, one good side about being in lockdown is that I save a lot of money. Even though I'm not very happy because I'm not having a lot of fun, my bank account is actually very happy because I'm not spending a lot of money on going out, on ordering, because ordering here is really expensive. So I could think that I might be missing out on fun, but I'm gaining money in my bank account. I'm reaching my financial goals much faster than my friends who are having fun, who are not in lockdown. So that way, I even though of course the feeling of FOMO is still there, that I wish I could be having fun right now, I would instead focus on the things that are going right, my bank account, my finances, or I would have a lot of this time to start new projects with my YouTube channel. Even now I have a lot of time being at home, I have more time to experiment with my YouTube, like the skit from last week. So I'm gaining those things. So the point that I want to give out in this video is that before you feel bad about yourself for not having something, always try to shift your mind, shift your focus on the things that you actually do have. Because feeling FOMO, it's a trade-off basically, you know? I feel like when you're losing something, you're gaining something. It's always like that. So it's okay to feel bad about the things that you don't have, but don't let those feelings dominate, you know? Okay, sure, you can feel bad about not being there, not having fun, but focus on the things that you have, you know, like, oh, now I have a lot of time to spend at home, and I can reach my financial goals faster. So yeah, when I think about it that way, this whole lockdown thing maybe isn't so bad, because I'm actually also thinking how much how often would this happen, you know? Like, for instance, let's say this whole lockdown thing isn't happening and I still have this goal of reaching a certain amount on my savings. Probably it would be a lot harder to resist the temptation of having fun outside while having this goal. Whereas now, with the lockdown, I am forced to stay home. So it's a lot easier because I don't have a choice but to stay home. It's a lot easier to force myself to stay home and save money. So this is how I try to hack it into feeling okay with being in lockdown and to get rid of this FOMO feeling as much as possible. So that is it for today. I hope you guys liked the video. I hope you guys learned some new expressions, some new words, and some new wisdom if you didn't know already. And I will see you guys next week in another video. Until then, you have a good day and bye-bye.